welcome back to the segment. Now it's time for the discussion segment. Of course, it's the lighter segment this beautiful morning, and we are going to be giving you some things to talk about. And like I said before, we'd like to hear your thoughts on our social media platforms. It is no surprise that with the increase in popularity of social media sites, the world of online dating is gaining traction. Dating apps are popping up on multiple platforms, with allowing people to connect. With recent reports that technology is taking over the dating world, even social media sites like Facebook and Instagram, that initially intended to connect with friends, are now being used to find love. But can you actually fall in love on social media, or does this method of matchmaking lead to eventual heartbreak? Like some people would say, breakfast. All right. Joining us today, joining us right here, we have our own in-house, I like to call them in-house analysts. I don't know if that's the right word to use though, but we have our in-house people, okay, our own, Omobolande Adeshi, and of course the sports guy Samson Oloyede, but today he's not doing sports. Good morning, Bolande.
Good morning, Samson. Margaret. Good morning, Perpetual.
Good morning.
You guys really smiling at me. I don't know. Or are
it's
you?
Friday.
I don't
you know how Fridays are now. The weekend is here, so.
Samson, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Okay. Pep, how are you? Of course.
Very well, thanks. You know that.
All right. So the Facebook matchmaking and Facebook love, people say they found love on Facebook and Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, what have you, or what's it called again? Is this what they call Tinder, I guess? Something I'm sure you know of this.
No, I don't.
So I don't know. Does it really lead to love, or it's? What do you think? I'll start with Bonali.
Why did you have to start with me?
Yes, you are the lady. Oh, you're a lady.
Well, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media apps, talking about love. You know, for me, I can be traditional when it comes to love, because I believe that love is something that should be groomed, not something that you go on social media, you see, of course. Don't get me wrong, there are exceptions to it, because we've seen cases where some people, I saw a post, somebody posted something on Twitter and he said how it started, how it is going. So it started by him sliding into the lady's DM, and then from there, this even happened with Adesua and Banky.
Yes.
He slid into her DM, and then from there, the rest is history, as they say. So, yes, it happens for some people, but for me, I believe that the larger percentage of it should happen organically. Like, you should see the person, you know, let it grow, because I am very traditional. But I know that it happens for some people, but in the end, most times, people eventually get served breakfast, as you said.
So you said organically. You see that the social media love is not okay. Like you said, you are traditional already, but okay.
But it's not. Is it organic? If you look at it, is it organic?
No, you meet people different. The way you meet people on the road. That's just assume social media is a world of its own, and you are in the world of social media. You met someone the same way you're in an actual world. And probably I just met Samson, or I just met you, and
someone that you know by the person's tweets or the person's Instagram post or Facebook post.
You get to meet and see. Okay, let me hear Samson's stuff.
Well, I understand where she's coming from. You know, the traditional or the conventional way of approaching a lady, and then you get into be friends before you know it transcends into the dating of the thing. But we should understand as well that the world is, you know, well advanced in terms of technology. So you can't dispute the impact of the social media, not just, you know, in terms of people's occupational, duties, but also in terms of their relationship with people. I haven't said that there's really no defined place where you can find love. It's not restricted. It's not rigid.
Are you okay?
You know, as the slogan goes, you find love, you know, even in hopeless places. I get where she's coming from with regards to let it grow organically, but can you meet someone? Can you slide, you know, into someone's DM and then pick it up from there? Why not? There's really nothing wrong with you probably admiring someone's tweets. You know, when the tweets come off you as being intellectual, you know, if you're sapiosexual, that would intrigue you. So you slide in such a person's DM, that's not a problem. As long as you guys are able to meet, you know, build a friendship and then it transcends, why not?
I actually agree. That's why I said in some cases, like there are exceptional cases, like Aproko Doctor on Twitter. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He also met his babe on Twitter.
His wife.
His wife. Babe. Babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
clearer.
So
I know where
they're
she's coming
married
from.
now. They're married now. So he met her on Twitter, saw her, and then was like, "Oh, I like you." It was just direct, went to her DM, and from there they are married. So it happens in some cases, but most times they eventually get served breakfast. There's this particular couple. They were like the sensation on Twitter at a particular time. Every time, Tife, I can't remember the name of the babe. I don't know if you. Thank you very much. Tife and Sansa, they were on Twitter, both of them. You find them tweeting, talking, you know, all this, what's it called? The Cupid arrow struck both of them, and it was going good. All of a sudden, they became enemies, like sworn enemies, to the point where this one was always throwing trolls at they were, you know, throwing trolls at each other. So it wasn't as rosy as it begun. So I'm saying that because of the way social media is, when you start it on social media and then it ends, the whole world knows, and then it becomes a total disaster. But if you start, you know, traditionally, and then
Still traditional. All right, Pep, let's hear your thoughts. I know you are my uncle, but
For me, I totally agree with Samson. I do not think, I'm not going to see social media as a different world, because, I mean, it's a global world. Everything is becoming integrated. So I wouldn't see social media as a different world. Wherever you choose to meet someone, that's fine. What's important is that you don't forget the most important things when it comes to love. When I meet you on social media, I mean, it's not going to take away the fact that there are certain checks I'm supposed to do. It's fine, we're on social media. Maybe, like you said, I could fall in love with the fact that you're subsexual. I could fall in love with the fact that you're cerebral. I see your tweets and I'm like, intelligent. I mean, this is the kind of person I would like to converse with every day. And then when we take it off there and then we start talking, and then I get to know your ideals, I get to know your values, these are things that really matter to me.
and then if it don't match you,
So, so at the end of the day, if the values are not the same, if my dreams, my visions and aspirations are alien to you and you don't even care about these things, these are the things that will determine if this love is going to grow into marriage or not. So for me, it doesn't really matter where I meet you, really.
But are you guys forgetting one thing? That
Okay, so what is
people
it?
can be different on social media.
See, we're meeting
So
on
whether
social
you do
media.
your investigations or not, they can put to you what they want you to see.
It's not just on social
But it's
media.
the
I know it
same
happens in real life, but in real life, it's easier to detect.
How?
I can look at you and say that your body language is not the same as what you're saying.
Parts that we met
On social media, it's not easy to
that
detect
we meet
that.
on social media doesn't mean we're not going to have our conversation.
How many
off
people do
social
that?
media.
How many
no, you
people
don't
do
live
that?
on social media. You don't stay there.
You are
permanently.
speaking of your own ideals. How many people do what you're doing? How many people go do the background checks?
Well,
How many
that's-
people
that's
do
their-
the
that's their own
offline
problem.
thinking?
Ladies,
They
that's
just
their own
want, because
problem.
the world is now on a fast pace.
Sweetheart,
They want to
marriage
just
is not being marriage is not.
ladies, let's hear from Samson. Samson is just, I don't want you to be numb. Samson. I know you know a lot of those things, and you're just acting like. Samson, what are you saying? I could hear the ladies here trying to. I'm enjoying the segment. They're all making sense, but then what are you saying?
Well, I understand where she's coming from, but we should understand that the whole issue of breakfast or, you know, heartbreaks, whatever it is, disappointments, is not restricted to social
everywhere.
media. We've seen the so-called conventional places. You meet someone at the church or even, you know, at a family gathering or whatever, still end up with a breakfast. So you cannot restrict, you know,
But you can deal with a heartbreak better because the whole world doesn't know about it.
Well,
You can just go into
here's
your
the thing.
closet
We need to
and handle it.
Okay, Samson, go on first of all.
We need to understand that folks are different. Certain people are more, you know, secretive than others. The fact that folks decide to, you know, project their emotional life on social media does not necessarily mean that it's going to crash. We've seen folks who, you know, kept it like a palliative, and at the end of the day, nothing happened.
But then,
so
but
it's
then
what
that's
it is.
savage. But then that again, that you met someone on social media doesn't necessarily mean you have to put it to the face of social media users that I met my man or I met my woman on social media. The problem is, even social media is it can make, it can mar. You can meet amazing people there. You can also destroy your relationship if you decide to put it out there. I did so on Banky. Only very few persons knew. Most people didn't know until they got engaged. That's after. Even when she got pregnant, she gave birth. The day she put up the picture, people thought that was when she gave birth. She had even met like a month or
2 months.
2 months before. So she didn't have. They didn't have to flaunt it and say, "I met everyone. You're doing lovey-dovey." Public display of affections on social media. So I think it's how you handle it. But another question: people go on social media, get married on social media, not because not necessarily because the find love there or the found love there. Maybe they just want to, the thing of being a missus and being a married man. I think it's popular with ladies. Being a missus, just any man a man thing. Is it? Is it something that? Okay, should I start with the picture? But
okay, so yes, there's that thing of ladies clock ticking.
Yeah.
So everywhere the society is telling you, everybody is pointing it at you. The indications are everywhere that, babe, you are 25, you are 27, hey, you'll be 30 soon, and then that desperation begins to set in, and then the lady just wants to get hitched with any man, and then most times you find out eventually she gets maybe hooked up with the wrong person because she's in a hurry, she's not taking her time to check out who is this person. And then that's what happens where you see most ladies go to these matchmaking sites online. They get connected to,
I'm going to talk about matchmaking sites.
They get connected to the wrong people, so to speak. Although sometimes, there are always exceptions, but
some are lucky.
The exception is never the rule. The exception, if you have, say, 99% of the rule working, you go with the 99%, not the 1% exception. So most times, yes, ladies are desperate. Even parents put pressure on their children, and the girl child most times. So the guy is just like, you can get married at any time. You can, you see, he's smiling because he knows what I'm talking about.
That's not necessarily true.
Not necessarily true.
Yes, because oftentimes, especially, in time past, some 20, 30 years ago, once a guy also clocks 30, the mother begins to pile the pressure gradually.
When was that?
It's been. I'm serious. It is. It's been
20, 30 years ago.
Yes.
You sound like a 50-year-old man.
No, once the guys, you get to hear people's testimonies and all, so you really get to understand that, there's always that stylish pressure. Oh, is she the one? Oh, when is she coming home? And that, it's a gradual thing too. The same way women are under pressure, the men are, but definitely the bulk of, the chunk of it has to do with the women because of, as you said, biological clock. But having said all of that, the issue of, ladies being under pressure and all, I think we're beginning to see it change. You have folks who have even decided to be eunuchs, with regards to not willing to get married. And you also have folks who are now more expressive about how they want to go about their lives in terms of their emotional life. So I think there's a change in orientation for most people, single people now, with regards to how they want to approach, dating, marriage, and all of that. People are now, being intentional. You don't just want to rush into it because of, peer pressure or family pressure or, societal pressure. Folks are deviating from that societal dictates that, as a lady, you should, be married and have a child at 30. I have quite a handful of friends who are 30 and not married, and they're doing so well. They're not under pressure in terms of, themselves. They don't, as a matter of fact, they try as much as possible to even block folks who want to pile that pressure on them. So we have to give people the opportunity to express themselves, especially emotionally, because not everyone would have, it on a rush in that kind of thing, lane, because it's an individual race, and folks will definitely get to the finish line at different times.
All right, Pep, you're going to talk about matchmaking. Meanwhile, I think I'll give you the cutest.
Margaret, I think we need to see afterwards.
Maybe you
because I simply don't understand what you're saying.
Well, after now, I think Bolali understands. That's why she's turning her face away from me.
She doesn't.
Oh, Pep, you're going to talk about matchmaking.
Okay, talking about matchmaking, that's social. We have dating sites or sites where people are matchmade and all of that. Okay, am I sure I want to say
Yeah,
this?
you should.
You've started it. You have to.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Did you meet your husband?
No,
okay,
no.
okay.
I think at a point I just tried it actually. I tried it.
Breakfast, yeah. Okay.
Did they serve you breakfast?
No, you know, I said something earlier. It's about the ideals. It's about knowing what you want. For me, it doesn't really matter where you meet. So I tried it, and a couple of pictures were sent to me. And number one thing for me is you have to look it. Do you understand? You have to have. I mean, I should be proud of you. So most of the pictures that were sent to me, some didn't meet up. The look didn't meet up, and then for some other persons, when it comes to ideals and all of that, they didn't meet up. So eventually the fact that I was just trying my luck on a dating site didn't affect my judgment. I still went in there with my senses, knowing what
So were you
I
under
want.
pressure? Was that why you went to the dating site?
Maybe a little bit. I just okay, I was.
So you agree that ladies are most times under pressure,
I'm going to tell
especially
you what
when they are
happened to me. I'm
approaching
going
a
to tell you my
particular
story.
age?
Okay, I was engaged before, and then the it was a very rich family, and then the family was like, no, we're not going to marry a burden. That was their word and all that. So the relationship had to end. It took a toll on me because it took a while. So everything was just, so many things were just wrong. And I was just looking for, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to forget everything. And even at work then, I was going through certain things at work. So it just felt like the places where I want love, I wasn't getting them. So I just wanted that one person who was going to love me stupidly, you know.
Wow. People stupid love. Okay.
No, you know what I was trying to say. Like, this was going to be a fool for me, you know.
Yeah.
But then, even though I went to the dating site, I still had my thinking cap on, knowing that there's something that I want, there's something I'm looking for. And if that thing isn't there, nothing is going to make me settle. So yeah, it doesn't really matter where you meet someone. What matters is go in there with your thinking cap. Because even if you meet someone in church, you still need to know if you are the one who believes in, I'm a Jesus lover and I don't believe in premarital sex and all of that. The fact that you meet someone in church doesn't mean you should give in to everything that person wants. You also look at that. Does this person believe in what I believe? So whenever you meet anyone, really, just go with your thinking cap, know who you are, and do not compromise, basically. That's what I was saying.
Do you guys agree with me that sometimes, what's the word? I'm trying to get a perfect word to use to describe this now. Sometimes expecting too much from those people you meet on social media, not just social media, the world at large, can contribute to some heartbreaks. Do you agree with that? Or is it just me? Because someone once said, I remember when one time, as I was in university, I was like in my 200-300 level thereabout, and I was this guy I was assuming I was dating. Even I was dating myself. I was assuming, you needed to see this guy. Oh my goodness! Oh wow!
I know that feeling.
Today is the day for confession.
Oh my goodness! So
I know that feeling.
and you know the
Always
thing.
present, but yet.
Was it even
No
always present? I think I was the one even always present.
I think you both didn't define the relationship.
I just said I was dating myself in my head.
Apparently.
We were in a relationship, but really I was dating myself. So the
So
guy
why do you need to ask?
See, that's the mistake I'll never make again. So one time he would always stand me up for dates.
Yeah.
He would always stand me up for dates. Like, it's busy. One day I asked him, are you the only busy person in Nigeria? What is wrong with you? What the? And then I was waiting for him one of these days at a restaurant in Port Harcourt then. And then he wasted so much time. My friend was with me. He asked us to go there. Then he came up and said he was busy. And he actually went to work. Then my friend was like, you expect so much from people. That's why you get disappointed. And since that day till today, if I meet you, I'll ask you, bros, what do you want? Do you want relationship, serious or not, or do you want something else? Let me know if I will say yes or no. And then if you say you're coming, I put in my head that you're not coming. So if you show up, fine. So do you think, briefly as we wrap up now, do you think too much expectation is one of the reasons why people get disappointed? I'll start with Samson now.
Well, yeah, oftentimes, you know, folks have a way they want to be loved. Yeah. There's always that preconceived, you know, image of how you want to be loved and all. The other person doesn't have that in his or her head, doesn't know about it. So the person is only able to love you based on how he or she thinks is ideal. Now, that may be a bit different from how you want to be loved, and that's where communication comes in.
That's it.
That you know, you speak up, you communicate that these are the things I like, these are the things, you know, this is how I want to be cared for and all of that. If you do not speak up, because you have a preconceived notion like, oh, okay, every Friday I should be taken to a cinema or maybe a spa and all of that, you know, those kind of things. The other person may not have that kind of, you know, expectation or knowledge about it, and you have, should I say, clash, you know, in terms of tender loving care.
Right. Briefly, what do you think?
Yes, I'll just add to what he already said, because he already gave a good contribution to that. Men and women are wired differently. So the way a man likes to be loved is different from the way a woman likes to be loved. For instance, most times they say that men are attracted to what they see, women are attracted to what they hear. I can't remember. Is it here? Yes. So they are two different people. So you just have to understand and communicate.
Pep, briefly.
Finally, I think that communication really works, and so
we all agree to communication.
Yes, and then the way you want to be loved, your feelings are valid. Don't let anybody make you think your feelings are not valid. This is how I want to be loved, and it's because it's what's going to make me happy. So I should get it. Definitely. Yes.
All right. So briefly, what I'll just say is, like they had already said, the need to communicate with your partner. Some people like physical touch, others do not. They prefer words of affirmation. So you don't assume your partner may like physical touch and you are giving her words of affirmation and she's saying
because that's what you like.
Because that's what you like. I think Banky talked about this and his wife. So communicate. What do you like? How do you love to be loved? How do you love to be loved? So they would understand how best to love you. Don't assume because you like giving gifts, your partner must like giving gifts. Those are two different things.